Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. So basically, I'm making this video to just kind of explain everything I've been up to in the past year. It's not necessarily drama or anything like that, so if you're expecting like some sort of dramatic reveal about my life, it's not the video for that. There's definitely been a lot of things that I've been doing the past year, and it's just kind of made it so I don't really have time to post on social media. The number one thing would obviously be Tiger. So Tiger was one in the last video that I posted. Obviously now he is two. I did do a lot of updates during my pregnancy. Obviously every trimester I updated. I posted the actual birth. And every few months of the first couple months of his life, I tried to keep you guys updated. It was kind of hard to update you guys while I was on that cross-country road trip. I was mostly just filming what I was doing every day as far as like daily activities on the road trip went. So also trying to film any type of videos on the side just wasn't very easy. So for anybody who has a kid, you probably know that kids are a lot, and especially if they're two. That does have a huge factor in, me going live or me posting, things like that, because obviously a 2-year-old takes up pretty much every minute of your day. Another reason why I just haven't really been posting much of him and his life is for a few reasons. There's definitely some creepy people out there on the internet in many forms of that word. And if you want to hate me, that's totally fine. If you want to stalk my like, woo, more power to you. But I just don't really want to subject my son to that kind of weird energy. It's just like, if I want to put myself out there on social media, I consent. I'm an adult. I'm opening myself up to possibly getting hate, stuff like that. But if for some reason I post my son and he gets any type of hate, whether that be with his milestones or with the baby daddy situation or just in general from like some horrible negative person that doesn't like me, I don't want to subject him to that. So I don't really want people like staring at my kid. Literally, that's just what it comes down to. I love my son. I care about him a lot. And I don't want people that I don't like having access to his life. That's essentially why I haven't been posting him very much or anything about him, just because that's how I feel. So yeah, for the longest time, I did have my social media private just because, once again, on the same subject, I didn't want people that I don't like having access to my life. I haven't been posting really anything private about my life anyways. Even if you did follow me or see my stuff, like the most would be like maybe a picture of my son here and there or posting him on my story. But as far as like drama or crazy stuff going on in my life, I don't post about that. And to be quite honest, it's not even a thing. Anyways, in case you were wondering, Tiger is doing great. He's a perfectly happy, healthy 2-year-old kid. I'm hoping in the future, maybe when he's like 3 or 4, maybe a little easier to manage, I can maybe attempt live streaming again or attempt being like way more active on YouTube, but we're just gonna have to see when that time gets there. Obviously, especially when he's like in elementary school and stuff, I will have plenty of time to do YouTube, but who knows? I might have another kid by then. Woo! On that note, let's just get to another part of this video. So another thing that I did keep private off of social media for quite a long time is the fact that I've been in a relationship. I actually did keep the relationship private for 6 months. I didn't post about him. I didn't say anything about him. Nobody even knew I had a boyfriend for literally 6 months. And then when I finally posted a picture with him, people were like, "Oh my God, congratulations. I'm so happy for you." I'm just like, thank you. But me and him have literally been together for 6 months at this point. There's a few reasons why I did it that way. I could make a whole video on this in itself, which I just might do for my next video. Considering I do have a lot of experience in this, I have been in a lot of really crappy relationships. Wow, imagine that. So I kind of just wanted to do things completely different. And also, after my last relationship, I did do a lot of research on like narcissism and like relationship red flags, things like that, which like I said, I could make a whole video on this in itself. about like not so much tests, but things you should do and steps you should take as far as relationships go to kind of make sure it's in a good place before blasting it on social media. A really toxic, red flaggy thing to do in general, if you're in a relationship, just letting you know, no shade, no tea. If the person you're with is like instantly blasting you all over their social media, taking pictures with you, making the relationship like a spectacle, and like how much attention they can get from the relationship on social media and stuff, that's like just not really a healthy way to start off a relationship. So for the first few months, I kept things 100% private. I did not post about it. I just went on dates, got to know him, just kind of vibed for the most part before putting any of it on social media. Also, he is a very private person. He doesn't do social media. Like, he has social media, but he just doesn't post anything. So I just wanted to make sure it was okay with him before even like posting a picture with him. So there's definitely some people that will go out of their way to try to ruin every aspect of my life. And I wanted to make sure that this relationship was just solid before even like exposing this person to possible negativity. Luckily, at this point, I have completely warned him that there are some weird stuff out there on the internet, and I have gone through some weird stuff on the internet. Luckily, nothing bad has happened because he is so private, and the only time I've really posted about him or tagged him is on Instagram. And luckily, nobody has like attempted to follow him or be weird because he is private anyways. He'd probably just deny it. I'm not trying to be mean, but he's not like someone looking for followers. So if you try to follow him and he had no idea who you were, he would probably just deny it. So at this point, though, me and him have been together for 1.5 years. I mean, I hate to say this to anyone who watches my content or follows me thinking like, oh, we're going to be together, we're going to date, she'll love me someday. That is never going to happen at this point. And I know you're probably like, bitch, you have said that about guys in the past, like, oh my god, like, ooh, my soulmate. But literally, me and this guy, like I said, I've been together for 1.5 years. No fighting, no sketchy anything. It's all literally perfect. The relationship is like a ah. If he proposed to me right now, if he proposed to me tomorrow, if he proposes to me 20 months from now, I'm going to say yes. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier as far as like kids goes. I have talked to him about it, and obviously like my mind can always change. I don't know if I want any more kids after Tiger. It's just been a bit much. Also, like, he was a C-section, and in case you're wondering, I look totally fine. Like, I know you probably think I'm some science experiment underneath my clothes right now, but I am not. I actually am the same size and weight I was before pregnancy. Everything else is completely the same. I didn't get a bunch of stretch marks and all that stuff. And even if I did, which I didn't, who cares? You know, some people's bodies change with pregnancy. Luckily, mine didn't, but I did get a C-section. Luckily, I don't scar very badly. The scar just turned white into like a white line. So yeah, if like the right lighting hits like that area, you can see there's a white line. But other than that, like, I look literally exactly the same as I did when I was like 20 years old. Do I still look the same in the face? Actually, I think I look better. I think with age, I'm starting to actually look, I'm like looking at myself in the viewfinder. I look better. So yeah, I'm gonna marry the love of my life. We have talked about kids. I said that like, I don't really know if I want to do any more kids. And he said, which he probably said this after hanging out with me and Tiger enough times to be like, girl, if you don't want kids, neither do I. We've only taken Tiger to Disney like alone once. We've obviously taken him out to do other things, which isn't nearly as challenging. But a theme park with a 2-year-old is, it's something, dude. It really is. He took Tiger on Dumbo, and he's like literally dragging his blanket on the ground, rolling around on the ground. So yeah, I can imagine if my boyfriend is like, if you don't want to have any more kids, I'm fine with that. So as of now, I don't want to have any more kids. I'm going to make that decision within the next couple years, depending on whether or not I am married, and whether or not I own a house, and whether or not my age is a factor. So if I am going to have another one, I need to get on it within the next 5 years. It's been almost a year. I decided I was gonna get myself a job. At first, I applied at like many different places. I don't know about you guys, but getting a job is really easy right now. For anyone who says like it's impossible to make money or get a job, you're on crack, because it's really not. It's unless you were like literally just like completely inept, it is not hard to get a job right now. I was a stripper for 11 years. Okay, I had 11-year gap on my resume and still managed to get a job. So I applied to work at SeaWorld because they had a position for Hello Scream, which is like horror nights, essentially. So yeah, I didn't hear back from them for the longest time. And so I just like considered it a wash, started applying at other places. So I saw that they were hiring at this place, at this restaurant at Disney Springs. This is the best restaurant. So when I saw they were hiring, I was like, woo, count me in. So I sent an application. Within like hours, I got a response. And within like a day, I had an interview. And then voila, I was hired. So I got hired at this place at Disney Springs and I started working there. Then all of a sudden, I finally get a call back from SeaWorld. And they were like blowing me up. At first, I was just going to blow it off. I was like, no, don't. Just don't. But they were blowing me up, like emailing me, calling me, etc., etc. And I was like, okay, maybe they really need me for something. Because like I said, it was like a scare acting position, or at least that's what I thought. I was like, maybe there's like a certain character or something that they think I would be really good for. And that's why they're blowing me up. Maybe that's just me being optimistic. So eventually I was like, you know what? I did just take a job at Disney Springs, but I'm just going to do this too. Full send it. I'm just going to do this too. I was hoping that my manager at Disney Springs would put me on part-time. He didn't. I was still full-time, working 2 jobs. 2 jobs were full-time, okay? So if you do the math, that was literally like 80 plus hours a week I was doing this. And if you're wondering how I got through it, Starbucks, lots and lots of espresso. This is like obviously a huge factor in why I didn't post for a few months, was because I literally had 2 jobs. I had 2 jobs for like, I want to say 3, maybe 4-ish months. So I went to all of the orientations and all of that, and I was like, what's my role? What's my role? You know, I wanted to figure out what my role was, which house I was going to be in. They had like 4 different houses. I just assumed I was going to be a scare actor. They handed me a paper, and it said something that nobody else's paper said on it. The location was the front of the park. And I'm thinking, did they put me at ticketing or something? Did they literally put me at ticketing? When I showed someone, they're like, oh no, you got a really good part. You got a really good role. Like, you got a good one. Trust me, you're going to like it. I was like, okay. And then so when I saw the rehearsals for this part, I noticed I was like in the same group as like stilt walkers and like bar dancers. And I'm like, what is this role? Like, what am I? Like, I was so concerned until I finally went to my first day of getting like grouped off into your groups and learning about what you basically had to do for your job. I found out that I got put as one of the dancers. And I didn't audition to be a dancer. I did the scare actor audition. And there's a few like assumptions I have on this. They probably might have looked at me and went, oh, she's the right size, the right look, or whatever we want for our dancers to be. If she can't dance, who cares? She'll look fine in the outfit. Put her out there, because these outfits were skimpy. And for anyone who has gone to like horror nights in like Hollywood or Orlando, usually in the front of the park, they have a type of setup where there's like some crazy dubstep playing or like rock music. And there's girls that are on like a scaffolding dancing. Or I think in Hollywood, they're just like platforms. But out here in Orlando, it's a scaffolding. SeaWorld did the same thing where they put a scaffolding like when people entered the park. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's like a stage that's like different levels that you climb up on a ladder and stuff. Anyway, so they chose 6 of us to do this out of like the hundreds of people who auditioned. And for some reason, I was one of the 6 people that got picked to do it. So especially when I found out that was my role, I was like, oh, hell yes. I am so pumped for this. Basically, since it was SeaWorld, they went for like a water theme with like all of their haunted houses and stuff. And obviously they had a whole bunch of different types of like creepy mermaids. Sirens is what they're called. They had ones that just roamed and were scare actors. They had like a main show with their sirens. And then they had us in the front of the park on this stage. what basically happened was there was a 45-minute loop of music, and we rotated every 45 minutes. So it looked like there's only 3 of us, but our back-to-backs all looked the same. So like there was 2 blonde ones, 2 brunette ones, 2 ones with black hair. I got the blonde wig, which, might I add, I'm glad I was the blonde wig. That wig was cool and all. It gave me a bald spot. It literally gave me a bald spot in the front of my head. You can't tell anymore because my hair grew back now. But for months after Halloween, I had a bald spot. If they offer me another dancer scaffolding position, I will take it and I will do SeaWorld. But if they try to offer me scare acting, I'm going to turn it down, and I would rather do scare acting at Horror Nights. I know that sounds really bad to say, because SeaWorld was such a great company to work for. They hooked it up. They gave you free admission to SeaWorld and Universal, free food. At least they gave us free food all the time. I don't know about the other, like, break tents or rooms or whatever was going on. We had a really nice, like, VIP room. We had, like, food. We had all kinds of cool stuff. The people that were in houses scare acting weren't in, like, our area. We were just entertainment. Like, we were just the performers. So we got the hookup, and we got treated really well. And we had our own private bathroom and bathrooms. Like, we just had the best setup. It was really great. So yeah, I loved working for SeaWorld. 10 out of 10. So after the Halloween season ended, I auditioned for the Christmas season, like, particularly for entertainment, because I was like, I definitely want to continue to dance at SeaWorld. It was so much fun. I liked who I worked with. I liked management. I pretty much just had such a good time, and I was like, I want to keep doing it. I auditioned twice, okay? I auditioned twice, and they said no. They said no. They said no both times, okay? I was so sad. I was so absolutely sad. Okay, SeaWorld didn't want me as a dancer. I was like, okay, well, I kind of bombed the dance. I didn't do that. The first time I failed the dance. The second time I did do a lot better. But I was like, who knows? Maybe they'll put me as a character role, like in a costume or something. They still didn't do that. I am so sad that they didn't do it. But no hate to SeaWorld. But anyways, like I was saying, if they do offer me a position again as a dancer, I would 100% take it and go back. It was so worth it. It was a lot of work. I got like a lot of 3-4 hour sleep nights, but I would rather do Horror Nights if it's going to be scare acting, because it is easier to scare act at Horror Nights because a lot of things are on a track there. A lot of things have like scare cues and like stuff like that. So pretty much all you have to do is like pop out. You don't have to say anything. SeaWorld didn't have that. You physically had to like say stuff and like yell at people and do the most. As you can hear, my voice is shot. Which has nothing to do with SeaWorld, but we will get to that. You're probably like, why is your voice raspy? We will 100% get to that point. Anyway, so back to my job at Disney Springs. When I didn't get hired back at SeaWorld, I was like, all I know is I don't want to stay here. I'm not having a good time. Like, there was literally times where I'd call my boyfriend crying. I'm like, I hate working here. And, like, it has no reflection on, like, Disney Springs or anything like that. Obviously, it was just, like, you know, management mostly. It is what it is. It's third party, so I think I'm allowed to talk about this. Being a hostess at a restaurant, a very busy restaurant at Disney Springs, just not the job for me. All right, now that we got that one out of the way, I applied other places, and I saw that Disney World was actually hiring for people to work the attractions. I was like, boom, I'm in. I sent in my application and everything, and sure enough, they emailed me back. They set up an interview. I was like, yes, woo! I'd rather work at the parks and attractions. And then they told me, well, we don't have a position for you right now, so you're going to get put on a waiting list. And I was like, oh, that's a no. But other people that I talked to that have worked for Disney were like, oh no, like, no, that's a good thing. You got put on a waiting list. They're just waiting to like give you a role or whatever. So fast forward like probably a month later is when they're like, oh, hey, congratulations. We got a role for you at Disney. Yay. So obviously I put in my 2 weeks at the restaurant at Disney Springs. So I had no idea what park they were going to put me in. I had no idea what ride they were going to give me, anything like that. until I did eventually get an email. Basically, they told me that I was going to be put in the Adventureland / Liberty Square area. So I was like, Haunted Mansion, Haunted Mansion, Haunted. I was like rooting for Haunted Mansion. I really wanted Haunted Mansion. I didn't get a Haunted Mansion, by the way. I did get something in a way kind of better than like any ride at Disney, except for Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance is probably one of the coolest rides to work. And I told them this in the interview. I really wanted to interact with people and play a character as far as like rides go. I was like, I would love Tower of Terror, Rise of the Resistance, Haunted Mansion, stuff like that. So they did take that very literally on my first day of like training, where we got to like walk around the park and got like a whole little tour and everything like that. They handed me a paper, because you're supposed to take the paper to costuming and get like your costume and everything situated. And it says Jungle Cruise. I've always been like kind of scared of the Jungle Cruise, so I just never rode it or anything like that. So when I found out that I got the Jungle Cruise, I was like, okay, cool. I was like, but they're not going to put me in a boat, right? Like, I'm not going to be a skipper. Like, I knew they're definitely not going to put me as a skipper. Little did I know, everybody who works that ride gets trained as a skipper. In case you're wondering, I am a Jungle Cruise skipper, and that is why my voice sounds like this now. I have screamed backside of water probably hundreds of times now. People waited in line for 2 hours. They want the backside of water joke. You gotta give them the backside of water joke. It's one of the coolest parks to work at. I mean, I would have been cool with any park, but I'm pretty glad and I'm pretty lucky. Out of all the attractions in all the parks, I got put at Magic Kingdom, and I got put as a Jungle Cruise skipper. In case you guys don't believe me, yes, I do in fact work at Disney World. Happy 50th. I have not posted any pictures in my Jungle Cruise outfit. Like, for the longest time, I didn't even know that you could take a picture in your Jungle Cruise outfit, like, outside of theme. But people that I work with have made TikToks in their Jungle Cruise outfit and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so you can post wearing your outfit, right? Like, and talk a little bit about the Jungle Cruise here and there. There's just a few more things that I want to talk about. This video has already gone on long enough. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but I'm sorry. Also, another thing that I have been working on in the past few months, around Christmas, I knew that I just had to get my dad a GoPro. One of the things he started doing since we moved back to Florida is he's fishing again. Like, he loved fishing as a kid. He just fished like his whole life. Obviously, you can't really do that in Arizona. He likes fishing at the beach. Obviously, there's lakes somewhere in Arizona, but he's more of like a beach, like a surf fishing type person. As soon as we moved back out here, he was back on his fishing game. I was like, he's always posting pictures and like fishing groups and talking about it. So I was like, I'm going to get him a GoPro so he can film himself fishing. So I did. I got him one for Christmas. Oh, I got him like a chest harness and all of that too. So he goes out fishing every single week and he films his catching and all that. I have been putting a lot of work into his videos and his channel. If you guys like fishing content or fishing, I will link my dad's channel in the description below. Keep in mind, I am the one who does all of these videos, like the editing and stuff. So if you do want to support me and my dad, go subscribe to his channel. Another side project that I just started within the past month. It took me a long time to like get my footing on this, just because I was so busy with like all of these other things going on. I was like, I'm going to start running a Depop again. I did run a Depop while I was pregnant. So I did run a store envy for quite a long time. I ran my store envy between like 2013 and 2015. Actually, no, I even ran my store envy up until like 2016. I'm back to running a Depop again. I just reopened it. As of right now, I'm just reselling things that I have. The end goal is to sell like personal things that I've made, like handmade type clothing. And I have tons of ideas I would like to like sew and put together and resell on Depop. So if you are interested in buying some of my old clothes or following me when I get to the point of selling personally made clothes, I'm going to link my Depop in the description. Well, I think I have pretty much touched base with everything. That is what my life has consisted of the entire past year. If you guys want to know anything else or see any type of specific videos, just let me know. Please leave a comment down below and tell me. I will respond to like everyone's comment. I will be linking all of my social media in the description below. So if you guys want to follow me on anything, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You don't have to like the video if you didn't. If you dislike it, That's been great. Nobody's gonna see that anymore. YouTube adjusted it. Besides, my videos only got like 1 dislike on like every video, like 1 or 2. I'm like, oh gee, I wonder who it is. Like, are you stupid? That is my life in a nutshell for the past year. If you sat through this entire video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. So, bye.